マイクテスト、ワン、ツー。ワン、ツー。言ってますか？ワン、ツー。ただいまマイクロフォンのテスト中です。
ありがとうございます。 誰か通ってきたんですか？
Good afternoon, everybody. I think everybody has taken their seats, but if you're still standing, would you please take your seats? Could I also ask you at this time if you could switch any mobile devices to silent, just so that we have some quiet during the session? I'm going to do the same right now. So from now, we'll commence the International University of Japan Welcome Day ceremony for 2021. Distinguished guests, honourable faculty members, members of the administrative staff, incoming students, and ladies and gentlemen, my name is Anthony Crooks. I am a professor in the Centre for Language and Research Studies. On behalf of our university, it's my pleasure to announce the opening of the 2021 Welcome Day ceremony of the International University of Japan. on IUJ's campus, today's ceremony is once again unusual in that many of you cannot be with us today. Many of you are still abroad in your home countries or elsewhere. Nonetheless, I'm delighted that we can welcome a small number of you to the campus today. I think about 10% of you. And of course, through the power of technology, we can send out our official welcome to all the incoming students who are watching this online right now. To start today's ceremony, I would like to ask the President of IUJ, Dr. Hiroyuki Itami, to deliver a welcome address. Dr. Itami, please.
Hello everyone, my name is Hiroyuki Itami, the President of this university. Before I begin my welcome address to you, let me introduce our chairman, Mr. Butsuda, who is here today. I decided to introduce him at the beginning because the speech that follows is like a joint speech between two of us. Well, I'd like to congratulate all of our new students coming for becoming new member of this very, very unique university, English-only university located in rural Japan, International University of Japan. Today, we welcome 194 students officially, out of which 181 from outside Japan, only 13 from Japan, and together all of you represent 53 countries. Unfortunately, out of this 194 new students, only 18 could arrive on campus as of today. Many of them will arrive in sequence, I hope, and some of them are participating in this ceremony through online media from their home countries. I thank those online attendants very much. The COVID-19 pandemic has affected all of us so much, not only prohibiting our new students to enter Japan, but also stopping the movement of people around the world and also stopping many economic activities in every country. But be assured that you are in a relatively safe country, Japan, in terms of COVID infection, where we didn't have any lockdown so far, for example. And comparing with, for example, with the United States, where daily new COVID infections in late September until yesterday count around 120,000. Japanese new infections in the same period is around 2,500 or even less, and has been coming down very rapidly after the peak in late August. Since the US population is nearly 3 times as much as that of Japan, US infections is about 18 times more than Japan per population, even though the vaccination rate of 2 countries are about the same. One of the basic reasons for this big difference in new infections does not seem to be government policy of Japanese government, but the basic care for public health by Japanese people. Japanese society seems to be a society of one extra consideration for others, as well as a society of one extra action for details. As for the COVID-19 infection, an example of one extra consideration is so many people wearing masks not to infect others and not to be infected by others. An example of extra action for details is so many people washing hands with soap so often to keep them healthy. Actually, these patterns of behavior have been rather common in Japan even before COVID-19, but they have been accelerated to another height since this pandemic. I'm a specialist in Japanese industries myself, and I conjecture this same trait of one extra consideration for others and one extra action for details lie behind the strength of Japanese workplace, both in manufacturing and service industries. People often take extra consideration for the smooth working of human network around them and provide helping hands. People often take extra action of details to keep quality up and cut costs down in their everyday operations. We often observe these behaviors, just to take some examples, both at the automobile shop floor and at the Japanese welcome in their omotenashi or hospitality. Our staff on campus who will take care of you from today share, of course, these Japanese traits, and you are in very good hands to protect your health. But at the same time, I also hope that you follow these good Japanese behaviors. This is particularly important for the university like us, where students from 50 countries gather and live on a residential campus, living together for 24 hours a day. Close human interactions in everyday life and dense cross-cultural learning from these interactions become possible because of this setting. For this setting, however, to function well, keeping health on campus is so important. Let us pay our utmost attention for little things for all of us to remain healthy. To conclude, one very different kind of advice to the student whose native language is not English. Many of you may be worried about your new life at IUJ because of language. I had the same experience myself many years ago when I went to the United States for my graduate study. Chairman Utsuda also had a very similar experience himself. But do not worry. The official language on our campus is not English, but broken English with many accents. You are like many other students. You are like us. So, congratulations and welcome to IUJ again. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, President Itami, for such a warm and reassuring welcome to IUJ. At this point, I'd like to introduce two sponsor guests who have kindly come to today's ceremony. Firstly, please let me introduce the Managing Director of the Yamaguchi Educational Scholarship Foundation, who is also a counsellor on the International University of Japan's Board of Counsellors, Mr. Keitaro Yamaguchi. Thank you. And secondly, allow me to introduce the chairman of AEON's 1% Club Foundation, Mr. Yoshiki Myoe. Thank you both for coming today. Thank you also for everybody else for coming today as well to do. So one thing I'd like to do now is to pass on a special message that has been sent to us by the Mayor of南魚沼City, and that is Shigeo Hayashi, and I shall read the message to you now. The message reads, I would like to extend my heartfelt greetings to you on this welcome day for the new students at IUJ. I sincerely wish IUJ will have more successful years and the continued success of the new students and all of you in attendance. And signed, Shigeo Hayashi, Mayor of南魚沼市. Now, I would like to introduce the incoming students for the academic year 2021. This year, we are pleased to welcome 110 new students to the Graduate School of International Relations, including 4 PhD students. And we are pleased to welcome 78 new students to the Graduate School of International Management. In total, today, as President Itami mentioned before, we are welcoming 188 new students to IUJ from a total of 53 different countries. Now, because many of our students have not been able to arrive on campus as yet, I'd like to divide this introduction into 2 parts. First, I'll introduce the students who are on campus today and seated in front of me. For this part of the introduction, I'll call out the country's name, and when I call out your company's name, then I'll say your name individually. For the benefit of the students in virtual space, online, please turn to the camera at the back of the hall and wave so that the camera can catch you. So I believe there's actually just a camera in the front, so just wave towards the front. Audience members, after I've introduced the students, please give a warm round of applause to welcome them. So, without any further ado, let's begin. And we'll start today with the students from Japan. So, all Japanese students, if you could please stand up. So, first from Japan, we have Aoyama Miki. Next, we have Hashimoto Takaaki. Next is Ino Yoko. Next is Kawakami Shinsaki. Next is Kimura Mari. Next, Ogawa Na. Next is Tahara Yu. Next, Takio Kosuke. Next is Takizawa Keitaro. And finally today from Japan, Yabu Tomoki. Thank you very much. You can take your seats again. Next we have one student from the Philippines. And that is Kwek Lawrence Edwin Arts. Thank you. From Spain, we have Montagu Estru Maria. Thank you. From Sri Lanka, we have 2 students whose names I hope I pronounce well. First is Fernando Fantilaj Dominda Nishan. And the second is Nanayakara Gahenj Pravesh Krishan. Thank you very much.
From Thailand, we have Kongthien Asana. And finally, from Vietnam, we have No Hang Thuy Pham. Thank you to all of you for being able to be on campus today.
Now let's turn our attention to all the students who have joined us online and send our warm welcome to them. I'll read out the names of the countries, all 53 countries, and announce the number of new students who are representing those countries. After I call out each country's name and the number of students from each country, please give a warm round of applause. Please also feel free to wave to the cameras behind you. So there's cameras set up, so you can wave to the cameras there to welcome them. So, starting at the top, coming from Afghanistan, we have 3 students. Representing Bangladesh, 7 students. Joining us from Bhutan, 2 students. Coming from Botswana, 2 students. Representing Burkina Faso, 1 student. Joining us from Cambodia, 2 students. Coming from Chile, 1 student. Representing Côte d'Ivoire, 1 student. And joining us from Djibouti, 1 student. So, my apologies, from Djibouti, 2 students. Coming from El Salvador, 2 students. Representing Fiji, 1 student. Joining us from France will be 1 student. Coming from Gambia, 1 student. Representing Ghana will be 1 student. And joining us from Guinea will be 1 student. As President Itami mentioned before, coming from Japan will be 13 students. Representing Kazakhstan will be 1 student. Joining us from Kenya will be 5 students. Coming from Hungary, 1 student. Representing India, 8 students. Joining us from Indonesia will also be 8 students. Coming from the Republic of Korea, 1 student. Representing Kyrgyzstan, 6 students. Joining us from Laos, 4 students. From Libya, we will have 1 student. Representing Malawi will be 1 student. And joining us from From Mexico, we will have one student. Representing Mongolia, 6 students. And joining us from Mozambique, 2 students. Next is our largest group of students from Myanmar, 18 students. Representing Nepal will be 8 students. And from Nigeria, there will be 4 students. Coming from Pakistan will be 6 students. Representing Papua New Guinea will be 3 students. And joining us from the Philippines, 13 students. Coming from Poland, we have 1 student. Representing Russia will be 1 student. And joining us from Somalia will be 2 students. From Spain, we will have 2 students. Representing Sri Lanka will be 10 students. Joining us from Switzerland will be 1 student. From Tajikistan, we will have 4 students. Representing Thailand will be 1 student. And joining us from Timor-Leste will be 4 students. From Togo, we will have 1 student. From Tonga, 1 student. And from Tunisia, there will be 1 student. From Turkey, we will have 1 student. Representing Uganda will be 1 student. And joining us from the United States of America, 2 students. From Uzbekistan, we will have 4 students. And finally, from Vietnam, 11 students. So, as you can see, we're welcoming students from all over the world. As we always say to students, this is truly the International University of Japan. I would like to extend a very warm welcome to all our students. Thank you very much for choosing IUJ as your study destination. For those of you who here are on campus today, let me also extend a warm welcome to you. Now, I would like to ask the President of IUJ, Dr. Itami, to introduce the Board of Executives.
Well, you could feel so many countries. It was like the opening ceremony of Olympic Games. Well, let me introduce our management team on the Board of Trustees. From your left, Vice President and Trustee Professor Kikawa. And next, Vice President and Trustee Professor Kato. Now this way, Director of Global Communication Center and Trustee, Mr. Matsuyama. And Executive Trustee, Mr. Kimura. We are on the Board of Trustees responsible for the management of this university, and there are both Chairman Uchida. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President Itami. Now I'd like to introduce the Dean of the Graduate School of International Relations, Dr. Maung Myoe, who will introduce the members of the GSIR faculty. Dr. Myoe, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to IUJ. My name is Maung Myoe. I'm Dean of the Graduate School of International Relations. This very welcome ceremony reminds me of my own entry of this university 30 years ago in 1991. So one of you may be sent by in the near future. But now let me introduce about GSIR. This year in GSIR we have a total of 110 students, including 4 PhD students. In terms of programs, in IRP, International Relations Program, we have 31 students. In the International Development Program, we have 29 students. In the Public Management and Policy Analysis Program, we have 43 students. In addition to these, we have 3 students for JGTB in the GSIR. And that makes up a total of 106. Then we have 4 students in the PhD program. So in total, we have 110 students. So this is a wonderful year. And we have, I think, in total, for students from 43 different countries represented for 100 students. Now, please allow me to introduce the faculty members in the GSIR. Let me start with Vice President Kato. He is also a GSIR faculty member. Now, let me move to the left side. Professor Shinoda. Professor Kori, Professor Nakamura, Professor Jinai, Professor Park, Professor Wong, Professor Young, Professor Lee, Professor Yamada, those who are not here on campus were Professor Yamaguchi, Professor Goto, and Professor Saji. I hope you will see them not for too long. So once again, welcome all of you to IUJ and have a wonderful life here for the next 2 years. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dean Myoe. I would like to now introduce to you the Dean of the Graduate School of International Management, Dr. Hyunkoo Lee. He will introduce the GSIM faculty. Dr. Lee.
Hello everyone. 5 program of the Graduate School of International Management have 78 new students here. So on behalf of our faculty and staff, I extend warmest welcome to them. 15th century priest Martin Luther is famous for saying he would plant an apple tree even if tomorrow this world disappears. I think he said that because he had a firm belief there is a life after death. Tomorrow might be dark, but apple tree today will bloom somewhere the day after tomorrow. We are still living in pandemic with uncertainty, but your decision to join IUJ is likely to be excellent investment for your future or the day after tomorrow. IUJ will provide excellent content and wonderful experience, and I hope you can take advantage of them. That will definitely improve your life quality and the world around you. Finally, it's my pleasure to introduce GSIM faculty. So first, Professor Kikawa, and Vice President of the university. And Professor Ahmed. Professor Aung. Professor Lee Wenkai. Professor Yokose. Professor Komai. Professor Jang Jung, Professor Chuang, Professor Chao, Professor Funabashi. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dean Lee. Finally, I would like to introduce to you Professor Akihiro Takeuchi, who is Director of the Center for Language and Education Research, and he will introduce the members of the CLEAR faculty. Professor Takeuchi.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to IJ. I'm Professor Akihiro Takeuchi, and I'm the Director of CLEAR, which stands for the Center for Language Education and Research. So we offer courses and support for your linguistic proficiency and communication skills. The center is comprised of two programs of ELB, or English Language Program, and JLP, or Japanese Language Program. Now I would like to introduce you to the faculty members. Firstly, the ELB. So the ELB coordinator, Professor Parsons. Our MC today, Professor Crooks. And Professor Mondeha. So we have one more ELB faculty who is absent today, so I will only introduce the name. Professor Maung. And turning to the Japanese language program, it consists of JLP coordinator, Professor Kurashima, Professor Nagai, Professor Ishibashi, and myself. That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Director Takeuchi. Once again, I would like to welcome all of you today and congratulate all of you on your entrance into IUJ, and I wish to once again extend you a warm welcome. For those of you who will start your studies while still abroad, let me also extend, on behalf of the entire membership of IUJ, a warm virtual welcome, and we sincerely hope you will be able to join your international friends and colleagues on campus as soon as you can. So, I'd like to conclude this Welcome Day ceremony for the academic year 2021. It's been a wonderful ceremony, and I wish you all the best in starting your studies.
IUJ. However, before we leave today, I'd like to request that everyone gather for a group photograph. So, if everyone can turn their attention to the back of the hall, I believe there will be a photographer who will take a photograph of the assembled group. So, if everyone can move in about the next 20 seconds, please move to a place where you can have your photograph taken. So, with that, I will just simply wish you the best with your studies for the coming year or two that you will be at IUJ. Thank you very much. So, I believe someone will direct us to where the best position will be for the photograph.
Okay, please wave your hands to the camera, please. 大丈夫ですか？
Okay, maybe. No mask, last one. No mask. Without mask.
One, two, three. はい。One, two, three. ちょっと待ってください。すいません。はい。One more time. One, two, three. あ、バッチリです。はい、Thank you.
I was trying to figure out who you were. Who's that woman waiting for